In this ever-increasing multimedia world, it's good, and I would probably say it's expected. Well, it's good or expected that websites these days do include some form of media, whether that media is audio or video. Well, in this chapter, we're going to look at both of those disciplines, and in particular, in this lesson, we're going to look at including audio onto one of our pages. Well, in actual fact, we haven't actually created a page ready for us to add some audio to it. Yes, we could add it to an existing page, but I think it might be worth creating an individual page of its own. So we'll do that. Now, of course, if we are going to create a new page, then it would probably be better if we had a navigation link that would automatically take us to this new page. And perhaps the link that we've got down here for movies. Well, in the real world, if I was doing this for a real client, I would probably rename movies and call it something like media. And then with the resulting renamed media page, I would add in any audio and any video that I want to include. However, for this example, I'm going to create a new music page. And as a result of that, I'm not going to bother creating a new menu link. What I'll do is I'll add a news item here in our Cheshire News category that allows the user to click on a link and then be taken to this new page, this new music page that we're going to create in a moment. Now let me just vertically scroll down a little bit. So here now, at the end of the content that we've got already for our Cheshire News, I'm going to add in another sentence and then add in a link as well. And it's that link that's going to take us to the music page once we've created it. So I'll place my cursor at the end of crisis here, I'll hit my enter key and then I'll type in some text. And I'll type in local pop star releases single. And then I'm going to create the textual link. So I'll write in more info and I'm going to convert these two words into the link so that anybody clicking on it will be taken to the music page that we are going to create. First of all though, I'll do a quick save. I'll come up to File and then down to Save. And then for convenience, I'm going to duplicate our index page here, and I'm going to duplicate it as our music page. So once more, I'll come up to File, and then this time I'll roll down to Save As. I'm going to place the resulting file inside here, this music folder. Now so far you haven't actually seen me create this folder, so you'll need to do that yourself. You can either do it here within Dreamweaver, as we've seen quite a number of times already, or you could do it outside of Dreamweaver, using the method that you would ordinarily create a new folder. Anyway, whichever method you do choose, you do need to end up with this music folder here. Now I'm going to open it by double-clicking it, and then in my file name field, I'll remove index, and I'll type in music. And I'll click Save. I will want to update my links, so I'll click on Yes. And there we go. We've now got an exact copy of our index page for our music page. Since you now have a music folder set up, now would be a good time to go into your provided project files. And in the Assets folder, there is an audio file named overnow.mp3. You can put that in the music folder in the TT Stockton Heath site folder to use a little later. Now, of course, in the real world, we would be changing quite a considerable amount with this music page so that it is distinct from our index page. For the moment, though, I'll just close our music page down, and then reverting back to our index page, where we typed in the words more info, remember, I'm going to convert this into a link, so I'll place my cursor at the end of it there, and by holding my Shift key down and using my left arrow key, I can highlight both words, which now means I can make this a link. And of course I do want to link it to that newly created music page. And in fact, if I open up my music folder, well, if you give Dreamweaver a few seconds, it will update itself automatically to display the newly created music page. Or if you can't wait that long, come up to the refresh button up here. And if you click it, then that page will appear. And there it is, music.html. Right then, let's make these words, more info, let's make them this link. So by coming down to my Properties Inspector and choosing the HTML tab, I can then come over to my link field, and just to the right, we've seen this before, here's the pick whip. I'll left click on it and then drag and point out that music HTML file. Okay, done. Those two words now have been converted into a link, so that anybody looking at this index page and reading that information there, local pop star releases single, well, they'll soon notice that as soon as they roll their mouse over those two words, more info, then their cursor will change from an arrow into the hand symbol, indicating that this is a link. Now I want to save this once more, so I'll run up to File and down to Save again. Okay, we're now finished with our index page, so I'll click on its cross to close it. And we now need to address our music page. So I'll double click on it over here to open it up, and as we've seen and as we expect, it looks exactly the same as our index page because we simply copied it. So let's go about changing this slightly. As I said earlier on, in the real world we would make considerable changes, but for our example we'll just make some simple changes. So with this large photograph here, well, I don't think it needs to be included on our music page. So by clicking on it to select it, I can remove it. Therefore, I'll go up to Edit and then roll down there to where it says Cut. And once selected, then of course that photograph is removed. Which means here now, where my cursor is, I can add a music file here and some textual information about what this music file is. I'll start off with that. I'll type in a headline. I'll type in Local Pop Star Releases Single. I'll hit the Enter key to move down. And then now I can add in my audio. Now there are quite a number of ways of doing this. If you simply typed in some text here, saying download, and linked to our MP3 file, well, anybody using the site will be able to do just that. They will be able to download the file. However, it's probably better to build in an audio player so that the user can listen to it first, and if you want to, you can always provide a download link as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in an audio player, and here within Dreamweaver we can do just that. Come up to Insert on your menu, and then roll right down here to where it says Media. And then with the flyout at the right there, you'll see we've got quite a number of different categories we can choose from. Now I'm expecting you'll know which one I'm going to go for. I'm going to go for that third one down, HTML5 Audio. So I'll select it. And as soon as I do, here within our design view, we now see that speaker symbol there to indicate that we've included the HTML5 audio player. We've not actually as yet linked it to any audio file. We've not told it yet what file we want it to play. So let's resolve that by making sure it is selected and then coming down to the Properties Inspector, come down to my source field here, and you'll notice I can use the pick whip from here too. So I'll left click on it, and then come over to my music folder and point it at that MP3 file there, overnow.mp3. OK, done. And you'll notice in our source field now, there is that link name. Now before we preview this, do notice down here in the left-hand corner of your properties panel that we see these checkboxes. We've got Controls, Loop, Autoplay, and Muted. By default, Controls is checked, and that will mean when we preview this in a browser, the Dreamweaver generated audio player will have user controls, such as a play button, a volume slider, etc, etc. Now I'm not too concerned with the other checkboxes. I don't particularly want it to autoplay, and I'm not particularly bothered about the song looping around, but I thought I'd better point these checkboxes out to you so that you can decide what you want to do. Anyway, I'm satisfied with it like this, so I'll come up to File and down to Save again. And here within Dreamweaver, let's have a quick preview. I'll click on our Live button, and there you'll see now a preview of the audio player. Now in fact, I want you to notice something. Here looking at the live preview is slightly different to what it will look like in a particular browser of your choice. I'm going to flick over to my browser, Internet Explorer, and now you'll see the audio player looks like this. I've not made any changes, and I can't give you a reason why it does this, but it does. Perhaps this is because this is Internet Explorer. The player will look slightly different in different browsers. Google Chrome seems to come closest to replicating what we can see in the live view. Anyway, this is what we get when we are looking at it in Internet Explorer. You can see at the far left there, we've got a play button. We can also see just to the right details about how far into the song that we've reached. Over to the right, we can see the song length. And over here at the far right, you can see this drag slider, and this allows the user to adjust the volume. Okay then, so that's how simple it is when we want to include audio, and in fact including audio with a built-in audio player generated solely by Dreamweaver.